What's going on, Sooner Nation? After the Oklahoma Sooners had a really good day yesterday on the recruiting trail, flipping the five-star offensive tackle Cooper Hackett, getting the four-star interior offensive lineman Caden Penny out of Bixby, Oklahoma. The question on a lot of Oklahoma Sooners fans' minds right now is, who's next? I keep seeing all of this conversation on the Twitters about another one coming or maybe a couple more. Who could it possibly be? Well, I'm here to tell you some good news because I think Oklahoma's got more good news coming, and there's a lot of signs pointing in a couple different directions. You've got insiders maybe pointing you to the right commits. So we're going to talk about that, break it all down today. And then, hey, here in another video tomorrow or Sunday, you guys will just have to keep your eyes peeled for it. We're going to talk about some potential commits that could flip to Oklahoma from other schools here in the 26th cycle, because we know Oklahoma still needs to do some work in this class as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, because we're doing Oklahoma content all year round, and we're covering recruiting as well as we can. And all you have to do is subscribe. It's completely free, and you can be brought up to speed with everything going on. But the biggest question is, what's next for Oklahoma on the recruiting trail? Well, the good news is the insiders have been really busy the past couple of days, putting in quite a few predictions for Oklahoma to potentially land a couple of prospects. And the first one that I want to cover is here in the 26th cycle, one that we've talked about pretty extensively at this point, but that's going to be Jacob Curry. Now, Jacob Curry is the three-star linebacker out of Nice High School in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, but he just got a prediction from Steve Wiltfong. Everybody calls him the godfather of college football recruiting. Well, he just gave you a prediction to potentially land Jacob Curry. This would be big because we know Brent Venables does really well with developing linebackers. I think 247 has him listed as a safety, but definitely would come in here and play linebacker. He's got 30 total offers. If you're Oklahoma, you're going up against James Laurinaitis and Ohio State. Obviously, they've caused Oklahoma problems there before. Baylor is also in there as well. You remember he was originally committed to Northwestern, where he decommitted on August 26th. But last year finished with 101 total tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 11 QB hurries, 8 sacks, 7 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. He was on campus for the Auburn game, and that visit went pretty well. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, you start to see this prediction flow in, you feel pretty good about Oklahoma's chances here. But the next prediction that came in was for the 3-star wide receiver, Tulane commit, Braden Allen. Now, this is very interesting to me because I'm going to go ahead and give you a little nugget into the video that I'm going to make about potential flip targets. Obviously, Oklahoma offered Mylan Paris a couple days ago. There are other wide receiver targets that Oklahoma's going to potentially be looking at. One of those is a guy that they were already pursuing, in Davian Gross, who committed to Florida. I think everybody at this point is pretty well under a good assumption that Billy Napier is going to be without the job here soon. And so it makes all the sense in the world for Oklahoma to keep circling back up with a borderline 5-star, a guy that can play multiple positions on the offensive side of the ball and kind of be a Swiss Army knife for you. So it's really interesting here to see this prediction for Braden Allen, because Braden Allen drags this thing out too long, could miss the opportunity to jump on board with Oklahoma. Because let's say Oklahoma does flip a Davian Gross, and then they go out there and land a Mylan Paris. Well, all of a sudden, this wide receiver room is probably full, and you aren't able to take a guy like Braden Allen. Now, I still think they will if the spots are available. He meets, I think, all the criteria of what Jim Nagy and the staff are looking for. He's a great prospect. Currently committed to Tulane, though. Looking at Colorado, where I think he's visiting this weekend, Oklahoma could be potentially seeing an announcement from him soon after the Colorado game. So stay tuned for that. Braden Allen still on the board, but does get the prediction as well. Now, one kid who's gotten a ton of predictions, where if you're an Oklahoma fan, I think you're finally glad to see this one come full circle. That was Daniel McMorris. Pretty much everybody in the industry, everybody in the Oklahoma beat has put in a prediction for Daniel McMorris to land at Oklahoma. Remember, this was a guy that was originally committed to Minnesota. Texas Tech has been involved here, but Oklahoma finally got around to offering him, and it really feels like with Oklahoma being the dream offer, Oklahoma being the school right up the road, the one offer that Daniel McMorris was looking for, This is the one that I would kind of be watching of, hey, like I could see this one popping at any single time. And if you asked me, yeah, I would 100% predict that he would land in this class as well because of the ties with Oklahoma. But if you're looking at 2027 prospects, Jackson Roper out of Cherry Creek High School got a prediction from Steve Wiltfong, and I believe Josh McQuistion put one in as well. You have to fact check me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Jackson Roper, remember, we had him here in the podcast. We got a chance to dive into his recruitment a little bit and talk to him about kind of where he's sitting, where Oklahoma is in the recruitment. And it sounds like Oklahoma, Bill Bedenbaugh, Jim Nagy, they're doing a really good job there. When you look at Jackson Roper, though, I think he wants to probably take a couple more visits to a couple different schools this season. And so I wouldn't expect to see a decision out of Jackson Roper right away. But this is 100% a prospect that I could see committing to Oklahoma when the time comes and push comes to shove. So that's another elite offensive lineman. I believe he's actually probably going to be a tackle, not an interior guy. I think he's like 6'5" or 6'6" now. So definitely got some height to him and able to play that position. And then, of course, lastly, one of the guys that you've been probably seeing float around Twitter quite a bit is Crew Jones. Now, Crew Jones, the prospect we haven't talked a ton about, but again, Steve Wiltfong coming around to him. And listen, if there's anybody you could take predictions from seriously, it's probably Steve Wiltfong. He's really good at the job. But Crew Jones, a 4-star edge rusher out of Millville, Utah, Ridgeline High School, the 138th prospect in the entire country with 30 total offers. Look at what he's been able to do on the field. Sophomore year, 13 games, 93 tackles, 17 for loss, 12 sacks, 14 hurries, 6 forced fumbles, 6 passes deflected. And he also played a little bit of wide receiver as well. So super athletic kid. He's getting offers from everybody. Just recently got one from Michigan, Texas, Boise State, SMU. Crew Jones is getting a lot of looks. It feels like Oklahoma has the momentum in this recruitment, though. Feels like Oklahoma has been doing a lot of work with Crew Jones. If you ask me who's the next 2027 guy, I wouldn't doubt you if you said it was Crew Jones. I think Crew Jones could be potentially on commit watch, especially after the prediction from Steve Wiltfong, which feels so good. But I want to hear from y'all. So join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you stay tuned for the video where we're going to talk about more potential 2026 flip targets for the Oklahoma Sooners. I think you guys are going to enjoy that one, and we've got a list, so make sure you stay tuned for that.